But oh no, fuck! Great start. Ah! Please don't die. I cannot get death number 6 literally 1 minute into the stream. So last time we totally failed to kill the cleric beast, although to be fair we did pretty well. I think this time I need to go restock with some flick that cape. Oh, okay. Already got requests. Cape flip.
Hello.
Hey, Dean.
Hello, Dean.
Hello, sorry I got distracted by my housemate giving me a beer.
That's a perfectly reasonable distraction. I'm gonna shake Eileen's cape as well. Right. I think what we need now is to... Well, we're gonna cut this fucker down first. But... Oh no! Fuck! Great start! Ah! Please don't die. I cannot get death number 6 literally 1 minute into the stream. So, I'm Stewart Griffin. I am joined by...
I'm Cameron Bald.
And I'm Dean Bowman.
And this is coming on my channel on Sphere 10, Twitch TV/Sphere 10, but we're also being shared on Ready Up Video, where you can find regular doses from all of my compatriot fellow gamers. These are the continuing adventures of Stwert, and we haven't gotten too far. We're still in Central Yarnum. Haven't defeated any of the bosses yet, so I'm currently debating whether or not... Oh god, I forgot you.
Ah, so you are deciding whether to go Cleric Beast or Father Gascoigne?
Yes, pretty much exactly. That's the debate I was having. I was going to crowdsource some opinions if this big fucker doesn't kill me. Okay, you know what? I'm just gonna run away.
I always go Cleric Beast first. Gascoigne is a bit of a mountain to climb on the first boss, I think. So, yeah, Cleric Beast probably would be my vote, at least.
Okay.
Yeah, for me, Father Gascoigne is one of the hardest bosses in the entire game.
Yeah, you think? I always thought that, like, my first playthrough, I really struggled with Father Gascoigne, but I feel like once you get the riposte combat down, he's actually just goes down really quickly.
That's fair. I didn't really use riposte on him, I guess. I didn't really master that kind of that technique the entire game, really. So I struggled a bit with kind of fights that relied quite heavily on it because my timing was completely off.
Oh, death number 6.
Did you just die?
Yes.
Oh, no, look. Oh. Why did you bother that poor guy? He was just knocking on the door. He just wanted to get in.
Yeah. I need health potions, though.
Well, you know, you could have asked nicely.
Well, just asked him to give me his health potions.
Yeah.
I don't think that works, Dean.
No? Okay.
I'm not sure that's how you play this game.
That explains why I die so much in this game. For me, Father Gascoigne took a good 50 attempts.
Yeah, I think he probably took a similar amount for me on the first time I played it, because again, I also didn't figure out the riposte combat until I think I was about halfway up the Nightmare of Mensis by the time I actually figured out how to use it.
Right, that is quite a way in.
Would you believe me if I said I bet him first time?
Oh, you lucky.
It was honestly luck.
How?
There was no skill involved. It was just me shitting myself and just clawing for life.
That always seems to happen in a Dark Souls game where it's like. So, I often play these games with alongside my friend Jamie, and we kind of play as very different kind of characters. I always go for like the biggest, heaviest swords, and he goes for the lightest kind of attacks. And there's always like a boss that I'll beat on the first time that he gets really stuck on, and vice versa.
It's always the things. I realised in subsequent playthroughs like how hard he actually is, because I just got super lucky. Same with Cleric Beast. Like I know a lot of people, not Cleric Beast, sorry. What's the one that spits poison everywhere? What's he called?
Blood-starved Beast.
Blood-starved Beast.
Yeah, I've heard people have had a lot of trouble with him because he has like a basic like an insta kill grab, which he never did on me. So I've had a relatively easy time with him as well. But yeah, the DLC bosses are that's where I started to really fail an awful lot.
Yeah,
But yeah, the game.
I still haven't completely finished the DLC. I've gotten stuck on the last boss, which is the Orphan of Kos.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah.
Man, that fight is tough.
It is a bastard. I've been pretty madly obsessed with this game for a wee while.
It's so good. It's in my top 10 all-time games, I think. It's my favourite in the Souls series, or well, if you want to consider it a Souls game, I suppose.
I mean, it is actually the only one of the Souls games that I've played for longer than an hour. Like, I actually haven't played the original Dark Souls very much, and I haven't even touched Dark Souls 2 or 3.
Oh, really? Okay, yeah. I think this one is way more accessible, but also, like, kind of a lot more engaging as well, I think. I mean, it's not super easy, it's still very difficult, but it's got like I think the moveset and everything is just a way kind of more refined than Dark Souls.
I was actually watching a video. There's a guy on YouTube called H Bomber Guy, and he's made a video called, oh god, I've probably made a terrible mistake here.
You're surrounded.
Yeah, so he made a video, I think it's called Bloodborne is Genius and Here's Why, where he basically goes into Bloodborne's mechanics are kind of, it encourages a style of play that's a lot less defensive just by the nature of the weapons that it gives you.
Yeah, and also the fact that you can regain your health by going on the offensive as soon as you get hit.
Yeah.
Which is completely the opposite to Dark Souls. With Dark Souls, you have to roll away and heal up, and with this, like, you're kind of encouraged to kind of get a few hits in to regain your health.
Well, I mean, as I am doing as we speak, because I really don't have enough health files that I can afford to throw them away.
I was just going to ask if either of you played Neo, the...
Yes, I finished it.
Have you? Yeah. I think that's probably the closest rival that FromSoft have in the little genre that they've made for themselves.
Yeah.
Just super interesting advancements to the combat. Yeah. Go ahead, what are you going to say?
I found the combat interesting in that game, but like for me, like the storytelling and world building was pretty weak.
Yeah, I would agree, yeah.
And well, so for me personally, those are the things that I look for the most in Dark Souls. So...
Death number 7.
Oh no. I enjoyed it enough to get through it, so...
I am thinking about setting up a sort of a pool for how many deaths it will take me to reach the end of the game.
Ooh.
Do you guys want to make a guess?
More than 146.
146?
Generally, once you get past this, the sort of initial stages, you always find your groove, I think. Yeah, so I don't think, what are you on just now? 7 deaths? 8 deaths?
That was death number 7.
7, right? Yeah, it's gonna get better from here. I think this is, it's tricky in the early stages. So
yeah,
146, I think is what I said.
Particularly since
146 overall, the entire game. Okay.
I should also point out
the Chalice dungeons.
Oh god, no. No, we're not.
Just to clear that up.
I have to stop playing this eventually.
I almost got through all of the Chalice dungeons because I was gunning.
Oh, they're a nightmare.
Yeah, I was gunning for the platinum for this game because I was loving it so much, and I've gotten past the really hard boss in the Chalice dungeons, like the it's like a big werewolf that can kill you, and no, it's like a big dog that breathes fire.
Oh, Watchdog of the Old Gods or something. He's the hardest, I'd say. He is an absolute nightmare.
Really hard. Yeah, but I'd gotten past him, and then like my PlayStation died, and I had to get a new one. And Bloodborne was the only game that hadn't uploaded to the cloud, so I had to start.
I would
No,
have.
just-
You definitely would have got the platinum then, because he is the hardest boss, and after that, it's pretty much smooth sailing.
Sad times. I've gotten everything else. It's like,
Oh, it sucks.
Yeah, it does suck. I have to admit, I have been playing through some of the chalice dungeons recently, and I definitely think they're the weakest part of the game.
they get
Oh, yeah,
very
definitely.
repetitive. The bosses, some of the bosses are really cool, and it's cool that there's some original bosses in there. But
Yeah.
some of the actual floors that you have to get through are like very cookie cuttery.
Yeah.
Plus, for every good boss in it as well, there was also some that were just not that interesting. Like having to fight Rom again. Like
Yeah,
Rom is probably my
just
least favorite boss
space,
fight in the
yeah.
game anyway.
It's kind of a shame that they've ditched the whole procedurally generated dungeon idea. Like, I was sort of hoping that they'd work on it a bit more for Dark Souls 3, but it just seems to be gone now. Which, you know, I think in theory it's a cool idea.
Yeah, we were just talking about it being the weakest part of the game there, so I'm kind of glad that they didn't double down too much. I think these games are all about the handcrafted content to me, and like the way.
Well, yeah, exactly. Like everything in here is so clearly so deliberately placed and designed that kind of procedurally generating it doesn't really work for it as well.
No. I mean, I'm very skeptical of kind of procedurally generated content the best of times, but particularly in kind of these games that they do such a good job kind of like with pacing and with storytelling through the environment and everything. So they would work as well.
Have you played all the Souls games, Dean? I know you said you'd played a couple hours of a few of them, sure.
Yeah, I the one I've played the least of is Demon Souls, and
Right.
that's mainly because I bought that when it first came out, kind of just randomly, and kind of bounced off it because it was really hard. So I only got past the first couple of bosses, and then I always wanted to go back to it, but like at that point I'd moved on from the PlayStation 3, so because I kind of got a PlayStation 3 early on in the generation, and then I kind of sold it and got a 360 instead, so that I could play Lost Odyssey, which is one of the best games ever made.
Oh, I am going to have to disagree with you on that front, sir.
Really?
Lost
Odyssey.
I tried to get into Lost Odyssey really hard, and I just absolutely hated that game.
I think it's the absolute high point of the JRPG genre. Like, just it's so superb in every way.
See, for me, it was just like everything I hated about that genre packaged into one.
Yeah,
game.
well, if you don't enjoy the JRPG genre at all, then
No, but I do enjoy. I do like the JRPG genre. I'm a big Final Fantasy fan. I've played through Grandia. I've played through.
In that case, I'm very confused why you didn't like it.
Because every character was boring as piss. Like none of the there's that quote that's like the worst thing that you can say in any fictional media. The worst piece of criticism any fictional media can receive is I just don't care about what happens to these people. And that was the big thing I took away from Lost Odyssey. Like I just didn't care at a certain point.
I really like the characters in that game, so I didn't really have that experience. And I really liked the story as well. The fact that they were, the memory loss was worked into the story in quite an intelligent way, even though that's usually a cliche in video games. The fact that he had his memories locked away and you were slowly unlocking them. And like through those like amazingly written kind of short stories as well, which I thought was like a really beautiful experimental touch. And like I think it's Nobuo Uematsu's kind of best score.
What?
Career, I think.
It's his best score, really?
Amazing. Yeah, absolutely, 100%. It's amazing. I think like I think that game was. It was so good that he'd broken away from Square Enix so he could make that game, basically. That's my feeling.
Maybe.
Although I don't think the other two games that Mistwalker made were good, but nowhere near as on the scale of Lost Odyssey.
What were the other games they
I
made?
played, so it was Blue Dragon and what's it called now? There's a game on the Wii. I've got it on my shelf. Hold on.
Allow me to consult the library.
I've never played it.
Oh, God damn it!
Oh no.
Death number 8.
Oh no.
The Last Story.
Yeah, The Last Story, which had a really interesting combat system. It was kind of like an action, kind of character action kind of thing, where you could do all of these moves, like you could run up walls and then kind of target an area on the ground and kind of like do a parry strike.
Was that the one that was supposed to be like the swan song for the Wii and it ended up being not amazing or something? I seem to remember people being really excited for it.
It was definitely a bit of a swan song.
Right.
I don't think it lived up to expectations. It was fine, but it wasn't amazing or kind of groundbreaking.
I'm just going to sprint to try and get back my echoes, because this is always a good idea and never has any negative consequences ever. This has never gone wrong for anybody.
There's always a bit where it's like, oh, I'm just going to give up, kind of slowly progressing my way through this level and just run past everything just so I can get to the next bonfire.
Yeah.
Because I was going to take it back to our little chat on Demon Souls earlier. I was going to pester Dean to play it more. But you go ahead before you can say first.
One of your favourites, Cameron? Or?
Mainly because it's the first one that I played. I got it and I played it like the entire summer. I really just fell in love with it, and I think it has some of the coolest areas in the entire series. And like some of them, they've never actually matched. I don't think. Like the Tower of Latria is just amazing. Yeah, and it's a shame because most of the really cool stuff is later on in the game, and so if you didn't, work your way through it, then you're never gonna know how good it gets if you don't, force through it.
I really want to play it, but it's just the fact that it's only on PS3 that is.
Yeah.
If they brought out a special remastered edition, which I really hope they do at some point.
I am surprised that they haven't, to be honest.
Yeah, it's
Like,
crazy, really.
Because you would think it would be relatively, guaranteed to sell, right? Like.
Totally, yeah. Because not a lot of people bought it the first time round, and it's now very hard to get hold of, really.
Yeah.
So
I think Sony funded it though, or something, or they had a hand in its development. So I imagine that's why it's never. Yeah, I think that's why it's never got a wider release, which is, again, it's a real shame. Because it didn't run super well on the PS3, so PC, it would be at home on PC, really. Yeah.
But I mean, even then, you would think that at least it would. I mean, even then, you would think it would still show up on PS4.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe we'll get like a whole remastered package one day. That would be pretty cool.
The Uncharted games.
Yeah, I'd quite like that.
I mean, that definitely wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, it would make sense. Especially because Bloodborne was such a success for PS4, and a lot of the people who played Bloodborne probably haven't played the earlier games, and so a PS4 remaster or whatever would make sense, I think, for those people.
And also, they've kind of said they're not making any more Dark Souls games, so bringing out the first one as a special edition.
Well, yeah, or even packaging together all four, like Demon Souls, and then the first three, then all three Dark Souls, into one package and selling it for 80-90 quid. Then you could probably do that.
That would be great. That would be like the Proust of video games. Remembrance of things past. It's got that kind of it's that level of cultural caliber in my mind. Just love this series.
I have to admit, I do want to go back and play the other Souls games that are available. Once I sort of feel like I'm finally done with Bloodborne, I will probably pick up Dark Souls or something.
You could probably skip to. Yeah,
I think 2's got its qualities. I don't think it's a very good structure because it's basically just it's like a greatest hits album. Instead of feeling like a big coherent world, it's just kind of like
hello, Ready Up Video. Sorry, go ahead.
Hello. Yeah,
I was gonna say that's exactly what free is as well. But free is just him revisiting it and being like.
But it's a lot more joined up as an area, I think.
Oh yeah, in terms of like things making sense geographically, yeah.
Yeah, but to be fair, I don't think that they always need to.
If I
fall down, motherfucker. Sorry.
Nice. Are you teabagging him? Oh, you're dragging his corpse around.
Yeah, I mean, I think I don't think it's a bad game because obviously it's a Souls game and it still has the really refined combat. But I mean, out of all of them, I think that's the one that you could probably, sit out. I think Dark Souls 1
that's
sort of required playing if you want to get into the series. Yeah.
Sorry, just to interrupt you guys. I think this. Oh no, he's not. Fuck! I thought that guy had glitched into the wall, but nope. He turned out to unstick himself right at the worst possible fucking moment. I'm delighted to realize also that I don't have any more bullets. Please don't kill me. Please don't kill me. Yes. And I've almost reached the armor that I set out to get at the start of this stream.
Oh yeah. So yeah, the armor that you're going for is really good, isn't it? Is it the Highwayman armor?
I don't know. It's well, I said in the previous episode one of my earliest objectives is oh no. Fuck!
Dude, you can get him. Just run and grab the item. Be fine.
I gotta tell you, Dean, it doesn't work out.
Doesn't it?
No.
Oh.
Those guys are so easy if you have bullets, but again, I have almost no bullets at this point in the game.
Dear.
Ah well, it doesn't matter. I will get back. I will get back there.
The worst thing about this game is the fact that like health items and bullets are consumables, and you just have to spend ages farming for them at certain points.
This is actually the best place to farm for them, though. The opening area, like you could probably get like 10 or so just in 5 minutes, maybe.
Well, not 5 minutes, but it's worth pointing out that I started the stream with I think 1 blood vial and I think 0 bullets, and I may be back down to 0 bullets now. But that section that I just went through is a very bullet-heavy section, so yeah.
If you just farm this group over and over, maybe 5-6 times, you'd probably be almost full on health. Well, I mean, like 15 or so, and bullets. That's what I had to do a few times when I played through this game.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I way prefer the Estus Blast system, the fact that it automatically just fills them all up, but you get more as you play. I can see why they've done it this way, because they wanted to feed into this kind of like more aggressive play style, where it's like you can't rely as much on your healing items. You have to try and get your health back. But
see, I think it's actually quite. It's actually quite strong because it like 20 healing vials is actually quite a good cap for that. Because it's enough that...
but it's collecting them first though, isn't it? That's the problem.
True. But again, it's not like they're not particularly plentiful. I mean, by the time you get to the later areas where you really need a lot of them, you're probably collecting enough in echoes that you can go and just drop cash on it as well.
But when you're up against a really tough boss fight and you're just doing boss runs, so you're literally running a very short distance to the boss room to fight it, and you think you've almost got it, so you just need 1 or 2 more runs and then you're out of blood vials, and it's like, oh no, I have to go to a completely different area and for 30 minutes run around trying to get blood vials, and it completely breaks the flow, because at that point it's like,
see, I never found that
muscle in the boss fight, right?
See, I never found that broke the flow for me. For me, that always like... I mean, I think the muscle memory thing is maybe a bit... It feels a bit more important than it actually is, because I've always found that when I'm stuck on a boss, one of the... Like, I'll be stuck on a boss for an entire evening, and then go to sleep, wake up the next morning, and take him out on the first attempt.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, so maybe it forces you to go away to another area and kind of like take a break. So
Yeah.
I guess it's almost like a Nintendo thing. Instead of flashing up on the screen, hey, you've been playing for 30 minutes. Why don't you go outside? It's like, hey, you appear to have been stuck on this boss for 5 hours. Why don't you go do something else?
Yeah. Just go stab things that you can be satisfied about stabbing for a little while.
Yeah, you can win against these things.
Oh, right. I'm gonna go get my shit back. I still have no bullets. Where the fuck are all my bullets? This sucks because I've basically gotten so used to using the riposte combat now that I actually really struggle to fight things normally.
Is the
Oh,
I
shit.
forgot what it's called now, but the weapon you're using, is that your preference?
Actually, no. My previous, like, this was actually the one weapon that I really haven't made much use of. I've been going through it a lot. Yeah, so I kind of deliberately picked a weapon that I hadn't had much practice with, although it is disgustingly fast.
Yeah, apparently it's one of the best weapons. I think a lot of people say, but I
Yeah,
never
it
really
is.
used it much.
In most of the Souls games, there isn't really a best weapon, but in
No.
Bloodborne, there are so few weapons. Well, in vanilla Bloodborne, I think it'd be hard to argue that, oh, what's it called? The long sword. Someone's holy blade. I can't remember exactly.
Ludwig's holy blade?
Yeah,
That's the one I
it's
used.
kind of objectively the best weapon, I think. I mean, I sort of experimented a lot with the different weapons, and like I couldn't match anything with being as good as that.
See, that's the thing.
Which is kind of a shame.
I would totally disagree. I like that's actually one of my least favorite weapons in the game.
Really? Oh.
Yeah, I just don't feel it's that strong. I mean, from the DLC, the variation of that you get in the DLC, the Moonlight Sword, is actually pretty good. But yeah, in terms of the actual base game, I really didn't like what was it, Ludwig's Holy Blade? Yeah.
Yeah, I think the reason I liked it was because I liked the moveset and how it felt to use. So it was kind of it's a kind of usability preference at the end of the day, which is much the same as the weapons in Dark Souls. But yeah, there are fewer of them, and because they transform, I think there's an even bigger emphasis on finding a weapon that you enjoy using, because the transformation combos and the two different modes are quite good. The good thing about Ludwig's Holy Blade is the two different versions of it are completely different weapons. Like, one's a fast sword and one's like a massive kind of like great sword. So it kind of really fits all kind of circumstances.
I just want to point out, by the way, initial objective of creating the character that looks like the character from the title screen, fulfilled. I've achieved something.
Literally the armor that I spent the entire game wearing.
Yeah?
Because it's just super cool, and like the weapon, even more so than the weapons. Like, I don't think the armors like differ that much from one another.
No.
Even more so than in the Dark Souls games, because weight isn't a kind of factor in this game. So you can kind of pretty much wear what you want. I think there's like one that's slightly better at kind of resisting that really annoying status ailment that just kills you.
Oh, frenzy.
When the winter lanterns look at you, and you just like you've got that kind of red kind of blade that kind of just sticks into you.
Weirdly, it's actually the one that's best for resisting frenzy is the crow feather armor, which I'm not sure why. It's actually rather confusing.
Would that be like just a connection to Eileen the Crow and the fact that she's a hunter?
I suppose, yeah, and she's because she's a hunter of hunters, it's sort of implicit that she doesn't actually go mad. Although,
but
notably,
if you
if you don't do her quest line, she does go crazy.
That quest line is so good because there's so many different ways it can pan out. I think that's like one of the best examples of a side quest in any video game, I think. I mean, it's a little bit tricky to figure out what all the triggers are because, like most things in these games, like it doesn't really tell you. You just have to kind of find her at specific places.
Yeah.
But it's so cool when because she tells you that she's hunting someone specifically, and she kind of clues you in on where he's going to be, and then you can kind of go to where she's fighting him and help her to win. Because otherwise she can just get messed up. But I think there are kind of 4 or 5 different ways that narrative could pan out, and some of them are quite poignant. That's really interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, I think, one of the best quests in the game. I do still think probably the best side quest in the game is the one with Gascoigne's daughter.
Oh yeah, that's really cool. Yeah. Oh, there's so many kind of really kind of poignant, morbid things in this game.
Yeah. Ow, no, fuck.
Because she also goes to try and find her mother, doesn't she? And then you find her ribbon, like when you kill a giant rat, and it's like, oh, the giant pig, isn't it? It's like, oh,
yeah,
she got eaten. Oh, shit.
Which, when you actually think about what she sneaks through, it's actually rather impressive that she gets that far.
She was probably playing Bloodborne as much as you, though.
Probably. In fact, oh, this is her house. I forgot. We actually just arrived at her house.
Oh, cool. So you get to talk to her in the window. Yeah, it does feel really cool as well when you're using the music box on Gascoigne and like the effect it has and everything. And
yeah, I think I'm probably going to grab that just now.
Yeah, so the way I ended up beating Gascoigne, because I couldn't do it in a fair fight for the life of me, I basically, after fighting him over and over again, I resorted to using the music box at the split second that he turned into the werewolf, so he didn't even have a chance to rush at me, and then I just threw about 8 Molotov cocktails into his face. that was the only way I could do it, and I basically
it is one way.
Yeah, I just could not fight him toe to toe, so I did it that way.
I think I'm going to try and see if I can get myself leveled up. I think this may be time for the stream's first leveling up. I can get away from level 4.
Have you not leveled up yet?
No.
Do you have to kill the cleric beast to get your first level up, or do you just have to enter the arena with him?
Yeah, you just have to enter the arena. You can't level up until you get your first point of insight, but you get your first point of insight the first time you see him.
Yeah.
It's such a brilliant system. Like, you know, nothing about the insight system is kind of like remotely kind of comprehensible at first. It's like, what the hell is this thing called insight? What does it do? Like, why can't I level up? Like, what is going on? Why are suddenly things shooting fireballs at me? Oh my god. Why can I suddenly see giant invisible demons hanging off buildings?
Yeah.
I love it. It's so good.
Which is actually very thematically appropriate for what the story is.
Well, it's a Lovecraftian story, isn't it? And like Lovecraft stuff is all about people through gaining forbidden knowledge, which effectively is what insight is. And you get it from cracking this, like madman's knowledge. Did you also know that the amygdala, the giant kind of Cthulhu-esque demon creatures that hang off the buildings that you can only see if you have a certain amount of insight or after you kill Rom?
Yeah.
Their name relates to a specific part of the brain that is kind of the oldest part of the brain. It's like the primordial kind of fear center of the brain. That's all about kind of like, you know, flight. What's it called? Flight or fight?
Fight or flight responses.
Reactions.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really cool.
Okay.
There's quite a lot of symbolism throughout the game. That's really.
I'm gonna cash in some of my cold blood so I can buy some bullets, and then I think I'm going to go pick a fight with Father Gascoigne.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can get him taken out just now.
Take him out. Take him out on a date.
No, Dean. No.
No. Oh, okay.
It will be much less pleasant.
Oh, can you imagine Father Gascoigne in Love Island? That would be great.
I can't really imagine that. He's got like 2 lines of dialogue in the game, man.
He'd just mess everyone up, though, wouldn't he?
Well,
Really
probably, yeah. He'd probably hit them with an axe, and then then the cameras would all cut away.
Yeah, but it would be like better.
I mean, it would be the most memorable episode they've ever broadcast, for sure.
And the last episode.
I don't want to waste any of my bullets on these fuckers, so I'm... no, don't hit me in the back with a brick. That wasn't nice.
I think the stream that I'm watching, I'm currently about a minute behind you, because you're still in the Hunter's room at this point. For me.
Okay.
So...
Oh, wow. I thought I was a bit behind, but you're way behind.
So, what's the elapsed time on yours, Cameron? On the top left corner, you should be able to... 52 minutes
52
and...
minutes, yeah. Oh, well, 4 seconds.
Okay, so you're about a minute behind.
Yeah,
I'm 44, so I'm about 20 seconds behind, I think.
Not too bad.
Mm.
So I'm going to estimate I'm about 4 deaths behind at this point.
Fuck you, buddy!
Why are you going for Gascoigne first? Against my my vote as well.
Because I changed my mind. Because you were all like, he's the hardest boss in the game, and I want to see if that's...
You want to show that you can beat him first? Okay.
Stop
I don't think he's the
chasing me.
hardest in the game. I think he's tough because of when he comes up, and a lot of people do fight him first.
Yeah.
Which is probably the wrong way to do it, but you know best, Stewart. So
I mean, he just... well, look, let's be fair. This over-burgeoning confidence is all definitely going to stab me in the arse. Like, let's be fair here.
Maybe.
But from what I remember from the last time I fought him, he is a lot... He's basically a test in making sure you have got the riposte figured down.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna... Before I go and fight him, though, I'm gonna activate this shortcut, so I don't have to run through that bullshit again. Okay, so that will work now. I do quite like the shortcut system, like the whole... The way that the levels become like constantly more interconnected as you...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Dark Souls 1 does it best.
Oh, of course you do.
Souls 1, it does lead to a lot of dead space though. Because you have entire areas that are clearly there to sort of connect up the world, and they feel a bit empty in comparison to the, the sort of the main areas. So yeah, it has its problems as well, but I think overall Dark Souls 1 sort of has the most of it. Maybe the best is incorrect. It has the most, certainly. Because Bloodborne, the initial area sort of works as a big circle, from what I remember. Because you're working your way around back to the clinic, and then you have obviously... My dog is... No, away? Sorry. Dog is bringing me toys. Yeah, you sort of work your way back around, and then you have Old Yarnum underneath, and then all the additional areas. Besides that. Right, he's gone.
I mean, I just sort of know what you mean, yeah. Ow.
Yeah, I think Bloodborne had a pretty good structure, but yeah, Dark Souls, everything is interconnected in a really kind of sophisticated way. And like it's all completely one-to-one as well. There's no trickery involved. Like even though they could have done that so easily, just kind of like hidden kind of connections behind load screens, or kind of cheated in different ways with the structure, because there's no map in the game. But they didn't. It's like, and people have shown that thing is all connected up. And in fact, I think like the roots from the tree at the kind of Firelight Shrine. I think they can be traced right down through to the kind of weird beach area at the bottom of the world. Like the same kind of like they're the same roots from that tree basically. So it's kind of like really elaborately connected. Oh, here's Father Gascoigne chopping up people.
Yeah, it's a bit of a dodgy introduction.
So, do you think he killed his wife?
Oh, yeah, I think that's pretty beyond doubt.
Yeah, I think that's.
I think
Because you find her corpse above the area, don't you?
Yeah. Sorry, you guys are gonna have to keep the banter going. I'm concentrating.
Oh yeah.
I'm trying to. I'm worried that my mouth has written a check that my ass can't cash. So I'm trying to get this guy.
I'd be very impressed if you managed to get him the first go.
I'd be quite happy.
You're doing good so far. Although saying that the werewolf phase is the part that is difficult.
You see, for this part, I basically kind of get a bunch of tombstones in between me and him.
Yeah. That's the way to do it, really.
Yeah.
Stop shooting me, asshole. Sorry.
So one of my favourite weapons in the game, and I think the one that's really good for this fight is the whip cane.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
That was actually my
such a reach.
If I was to pick my two favorite weapons in the game, actually the whip cane would probably be one of them. That was what I used pretty much for the entirety of my first playthrough.
Yeah.
I think the only one I like as much as the whip cane is the scythe that Gurman wields. You can yeah. So you can buy that after the fight with Gurman. And that is a lovely weapon, but obviously a new game plus only.
Yeah, I don't think I tried that.
The DLC weapons are pretty cool to look at, but I don't know how far their practical usage goes because I messed around with them for a bit, but by that time I was already so comfortable with the weapons that I'd played the vanilla game with that I just sort of stuck with them.
That's the problem, isn't it?
I would say of the DLC weapons, the Moonlight Sword is good. Oh my god, just fucking die already.
How far behind am I? I'm 59 minutes and 53 seconds.
Oh, you're not far behind at all. You're like about maybe 20 seconds.
I am more behind than you are in that case, suddenly. Wow.
If you guys hear me going, no, then you'll probably be able to figure out what happened. Oh, we're at werewolf time.
Yeah. Oh, good.
Fuck off.
I'm nervous.
I wonder if Susan's still watching.
No! Fuck!
Hiding in
Fuck!
fear. Oh no. How far was he down?
Oh, he was quite far. I think he had a fifth of health left, which actually seems to be a bit of a recurring problem for me. Oh well, at least I didn't drop many souls. Echoes, I mean, of course, echoes.
Echoes, yeah.
Definitely not souls.
I really like the lunging attack with the whip, because you kind of leap forward and then kind of do the whip action, and you can just stay out of range of pretty much anything and use that.
I really like, the thing I actually really like is the runes system. Like, when you figure out your build that you really like, I mean, as you guys can probably tell, I'm quite fond of the visceral attacks. So, on my main build, I've actually got that character set up so that whenever he visceral attacks, he recovers health and gets bullets back. And it makes the game unbelievably not easy, but you know what I mean, right? Like it's pretty close to being a game breaker.
Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose if you're good at pulling off those attacks, then that seems like a really good combo. I stayed clear of those because I wasn't.
I mean, it's a real. Oh shit! Oh shit, guys! This is about to be tragic. Run away!
You're stuck behind a lamppost. What's going on?
I got out. I got out.
Oh.
I got out, and then I got minced. I've lost count of how many deaths, by the way. I'll have to check in when I edit it.
Might be
11, 12?
I was going to say 10, but I might have missed
10.
What was your bet again?
A bit nasty.
Cameron, it was 164, right?
140 something. I can't.
Or maybe it was 146.
Yeah, I think it was
quite possibly. Yeah, quite possibly.
You just did a George Orwell on the date there.
What about you, Dean? Do you want to get on the table? You could Price is Right him and just go 147.
Yeah, if it's Price is Right rules, that would definitely be the way to go. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna say a kind of a cool 200. Bang on the nose.
Ooh.
That might be too many.
How does it feel to know that Dean has less faith in you than I do, Stewart?
Yeah, I'm not sure whether to be offended or not. Well, maybe it's the fact that you made your estimate at the start of the stream and Dean's making it towards the end, so he's like,
I guess. I've got more information.
He's like, I've seen how good you are at this game.
Plus, we could just distract him constantly.
Right.
You know.
I guess that would be the asshole thing to do, yes.
Yeah, just a game so that we got our bet right. Oh, he's got your souls, look, he's got glow and red eyes.
Give me my shit back. No, don't hit me with a brick, give me my stuff back.
Yeah, look, he's giving it to you. He's really giving it to you.
Yeah. All 200 souls, yeah, that was totally worth it. I have to stop calling them souls. I haven't even played Dark Souls. That's how much it's much it's drilled into me that that's what those are called.
Yeah. The cool thing about Dark Souls 3, I think, is it takes a lot of kind of aesthetic and mechanical cues from Bloodborne. I think it's a little bit quicker combat-wise, and the dodging feels a little bit more Bloodborne-esque. But for me, like, the most important thing is like the way the environment looks, like the level of detail and everything. It feels much more like this kind of gothic environment, because like actually Dark Souls especially, and Dark Souls 2 as well to a lesser degree, they're quite kind of like the environments haven't got a lot of texture to them. They're quite deliberately bland, I'd say. It's kind of like, it's kind of like this melancholy atmosphere with not a lot in it. Whereas like this game is very kind of ornate and elaborate.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this game is basically just like a goth's fantasy.
Yeah. Yeah, I think fundamentally I just like the aesthetic and kind of genre of this game more than the Dark Souls games. Like,
yeah, no, that's the same
Dark
for me as
Souls,
well.
Yeah, I mean, it's an original twist on kind of like generic fantasy, but it does have those same kind of qualities. Whereas this is kind of like, you know, more like gothic, Lovecraftian fiction kind of, you know, all they're both filtered through kind of Miyazaki's kind of unique sensibilities. Right.
As in, like, he writes the story and then deletes 90% of it.
Yeah.
Just like, you figure it out.
Do you know the stated reason why he creates so much uncertainty in his storytelling?
Oh yes, I heard about this. It's because he used to read English language fiction, but he didn't know all of the English, so he would have to put together what was happening in the story through the phrases that he did know. Am I remembering that right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and I think that's really interesting.
Especially, I could see how that would apply to Lovecraft. I can see how you could really get to the design of both Dark Souls and Bloodborne by applying that to different authors, you know?
Yeah, well, Lovecraft's work is so much about kind of like what's left unsaid
Fuck!
as well. Like the inability to explain things.
Hmm. I'm just embarrassed.
One more try then.
Yeah.
I wonder if Father Gascoigne has a hamster.
I suspect he ate his hamster.
Maybe his daughter has a hamster.
I suspect he ate his daughter's hamster as well. Come on, come at me, bro. I think riposte combat is the one time when you can actually get away with saying, come at me, bro.
Do you think you'll do it this time? I mean, I'm a bit behind again, so I don't know what state you're in just now, so that's why I am.
I'm not sure. I have my doubts, but I think, regardless, I think that's probably where we're going to call it tonight, if I do take him out or not.
Okay, dope. Well, fingers crossed you pull through.
Come on, Stewart. Oh no, fuck, I'm out of bullets.
Oh no.
Right, I'm gonna use the stab yourself in the leg trick to get more bullets, because that makes sense. I'm way too keen. I'm shooting him too early. Or too late, and then he just caves my head in with an axe. Come on, motherfucker.
I hate watching speedruns on these games because you realise how terrible you are. And, like I watched the guy like speedrun Orphan of Kos, and he was perfectly like shooting him every single time, and he killed him in like a matter of seconds, and that boss fight took me like days. It was horrible.
Yeah.
I just watched this guy do it, and it didn't break a sweat. It was just easy as anything. I couldn't believe it.
Someone playing a game in their underwear on level 1 with a bread knife. It's like, oh god.
I think the one that drove me nuts was when you. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say I think someone recorded themselves beating the game with their bare fists.
God, that must have been such a triumph of effort.
Yeah.
Someone better playing it with the rock band drum, like the rock band drum kit thing.
Fuck!
Somehow they managed that. It seems like an impossible task to me.
Yeah, that sounds needlessly hard, and I have put an obscene amount of hours into this game anyway, so I'm familiar with needlessly hard. All right.
Oh wow.
I think that's probably going to be us for tonight, because I've once again failed to kill Father Gascoigne.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to wait till we respawn, and then I'm going to wave goodbyes to the audience. Goodbye, everybody. I'm Stewart Griffin. You can follow me on Twitch at Sphere10, or you can follow all of us on Ready Up Video on Twitch. And you can check out the website at ready-up.net. Alright, I will catch you guys later, and for everyone at home, I'll see you guys later as well. Bye-bye!